For your assignment video, I try to break it up in two parts. The first 60 seconds is going to be a quick what the assignment is. You could shut off the video and go home. And then the last half of the video, I'll go in more depth about the topic and what I think about it. So stick around for the whole thing or just come around for the first part. So for this one right here, we're going to call this one understanding. What did I call it? Understanding philosophy. So basically, this is one of my favorite ones. It's a great introduction to this. You guys are going to read over this material. This is just a mini lecture that talks about what is philosophy versus like what is opinion. And then I have a couple of things here. Here are some of the earliest Greek philosophers that are talking about not talking about philosophy, they're kind of doing philosophy. And that's why they're a little bit different than the regular philosophers. You don't have to read all of it, just kind of like browse through it. So for this actual task, so if you pick this option, you're going to make a selection of a theme. It could be something as complex as war or love, or it could be something as simple as a chair or a tree. And I want you to take that concept through two levels. First, what is that concept on its basic level? Can you deconstruct it down to its most basic parts, like a cake? Like, we know what a cake is, but what happens if you just lay it out on the table before it's made? That's level one. Level two, now we're getting advanced. Now that we have this cake, what is the cake? What does it mean symbolically? What could it mean culturally? What could it mean historically? You start adding um, bias to it. You start adding possibly prejudice to it. You start adding education or religion to it. So you start adding those complex ideas on top of it and just kind of experience what it's like to do that. And then you're going to write down this exercise for me to see. And that's kind of what you're going to be doing for this. All right, so here it looks like for the replies, if you do option A, you only need to reply to people in the option A column. Don't worry about what they're doing in the other options. You can go over and take a peek, but please only respond to the one that you do. It helps with Canvas grading, and I get a better idea of your grade. So, all right, if you want to stick around, I will give you more details about what this topic is. So, going back to what I was saying with deconstructing things, this is Diogenes. This is an artist rendering of Diogenes, and what he was really good at doing was breaking down what you would think is super complex into the most simplest terms. This is actually a famous story of him right here where he gave up all of his worldly possessions. He gave up everything about his life and just lived in a barrel on the street. And in part, it really brought up something to me about, not having a home, not having a permanent place to live. And this didn't bother him. He believed that a person had a right to be in a home just as much as they had a right to not have a home. And he went out and just was like, "You know what? I'm done with it." So he became known as the philosopher in a barrel, where he would just feed stray animals. And even Alexander the Great had a run-in with him. It was pretty intense. So if you get the chance, I don't want to take up this whole video talking about it, but you can look up Diogenes in a barrel. It's pretty interesting. So for this one right here, let's talk about making a selection. So I did this myself in college and I picked a tree. So I just kind of Googled deconstruct a tree so I could see what it would look like. And this is back in the day where Google was just getting started. Now it looks completely different. But you see, there's so many different types of trees out there. And if I go back to here, so it is saying, all right, think it through. What is the basic composition of a tree? What's the purpose of a tree? What's the function of a tree? How many things can I attach to these? Is it just, wood, bark, leaves, trees? Is its purpose just to produce oxygen and shade? Houses for the little squirrels, so forth. But then I want you to take it just a little bit deeper. I saw a picture here while I was looking. Here's one right here. I'm gonna move me out of the way because I know Google's gonna bring it up. This one caught my attention. Is that still a tree? So I mean, this is clearly a tree, but like, is this a tree? So I feel like that's philosophy right there, because now we're taking it to a different level. My perception and bias and upbringing tells me that it is a tree. It's logs. Logs are a tree, but does a tree have to be living with leaves? You know, so that's basically what you're doing with your levels 1 and 2. Start off really simple, but then get a little complex. Let's try a complex one. This is one that a student did before. They did love. Now they did the same thing. They just Googled levels of love. And they were showing us their pictures. Like, your response can be as detailed as you want. You could just type it out or you could just do a video. This person had pictures for us, which was great for our visual learners. And they said, researching this, I found that there's way more types of love than just love. So what is love on a basic level? Well, I guess love is happiness. Love is a feeling. Love is something that is a verb. So then they went deeper. Well, what are these? Are these still considered love? Or does love have just one universal thing? And they just kind of talked it out and went about it. So that's basically all you're doing is you're taking a concept and you're going to start at the bottom and work your way to the top. And then discuss your journey with us, show us how you did it. And then when you go into the replies, unlike the thinking sages and the ethical ones that we have, you're free to talk about whatever you want. And this, I'm not really guiding you there. So that's it in a nutshell. Let me know if you need any help with this. The point of this option is for you to experience what philosophy is and what it does. It's more than just kind of reading what these people thought. Philosophy is a verb. It's something that we are actively doing and trying to assess. So let me know what you think and message me.